Hello, welcome to another edition of Three Questions with Andrew. I am joined today by Chelsea, my dear friend and fellow Houstonian. It's great to see you with her presence today to answer a few questions for you all. Hello, Chelsea.
Hi, I'm excited. Thanks for thinking of me, neighbor.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were one of the first people I met when I was starting Cut Above, provided a lot of really good guidance, just kind of given your experience. And I've been a supporter since then, which I really appreciate. So first off, thank you. But let's go to the first question. So if you could just share a little bit about your journey in terms of mindful drinking, both personally and professionally. I think you have a really unique perspective from the different career opportunities that you've had. And I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'll try and condense it as much as possible. You know, it's pretty big because the personal impact in my professional. November 2020, I had a drink and a half and I was hungover for like 3 days. And I said, I can't do this anymore. And that was very light drinking for me. But at that point, it was a health choice. I was tired of drinking. I was tired of hangovers. I wanted my life back. And so I decided to stop drinking altogether. And through that, I was able to learn about sober curiosity into sobriety, and then learn that I had an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. And a big part of it is being in the hospitality industry, because my day could start with mimosas at brunch and end at the bar until it closed, with meetings and conferences and all kinds of stuff. And so that was just a big element in my life. And so I removed that common denominator, which gave me a lot more space and time and energy in my life, and was able to really maximize potential in so many different areas and learn a lot about myself and how I identify as alcohol free. I'm not totally abstinent. I may have 1 to 2 a month. I may not have any for 6 months. It's really just non-existent in my life. And for me, it was about taking my power back. It's not my coping mechanism. It's not the center of my life anymore. And it's not my personality. And through this journey, I've been able to create and see an impact in the hospitality industry. I was seeing the whole. I was seeing that there were a lack of elevated cocktails and elevated non-alcoholic options in general, and they weren't a part of bar packages. It was not a standard, whether that was catering or an event I attended or me going to a restaurant. And so I was able to kind of start that in my own area and be a part of all of us who created this momentum and this inspiration. I've since left catering, and now I'm on the event planning side for a large corporate company. And every event that I plan, I make sure there's at least one elevated non-alcoholic option, whether that's really is just a simple non-alcoholic beer, or we have an elevated non-alcoholic cocktail. Like we had Cut Above in December at a retirement party. And I think we did at least 2 non-alcoholic cocktails with it. So I always make sure that there's something available. And I've seen this big shift overall from the outside looking into other people, restaurants, etc. But even my own organization recently, they asked that we're going to have a standard now that all of our events, we're cutting back on promoting alcohol and having a lot of alcohol, and really making sure that we have some elevated non-alcoholic options. So that's really big for our firm. We're a very large company. We do a lot of events. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
That's fantastic. It's great that you're in this position with your life experiences, with your view of the world, and especially when it comes to imbibing, because you get to witness this change happening. So I just think that's a really cool perspective. Question number 2, I'm going to kind of piggyback on some of the things you said there. From that vantage point, in events or when you're catering, you're seeing more frequently either events you're going to or that you're putting on, there are non-alcoholic options. What's been something surprising, that you've seen by the attendees, their appreciation or not appreciation, or whatever the case may be, that sort of you didn't expect to see coming, but it's something that you'd like to share with us?
I think the biggest surprise is at how many people want to have a non-alcoholic option, and how many of those people actually aren't sober or alcohol free, that they are drinkers. They just don't want to drink that night. I see a lot of that in the corporate industry because it's a variety of reasons, but I think one of the main ones is you don't want to be drunk in front of your boss and colleagues. I've been there, I've done that, I've got my stories. I don't do that anymore. So I totally understand. I think it's a big element of harm reduction as well, especially for traveling conferences or, asking your attendees to come to a hotel or, travel in some capacity. I think that's the biggest that I've seen so far. And I think just overall a lot less drinking.
Yeah. And I see it on our side from the brand as we engage, different hospitality groups, whether it's restaurants or it's hotels and spas and resorts. There is a request now that they see and they feel, the demand for sophisticated non-alcoholic adult beverages, on menu. So that's, again, the standard. Now you can't not have that. And then I think two, the consumer being just more aware of the occasion that they may want to consume alcohol and being a little more, I think, thoughtful and kind of saving that drink for something that's more special, versus it's just the default. When I get here, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to have this drink there. And so I see it on our brand side as well. And I think it's a great change. I think it's great that companies like yours and the hospitality industry professionals that I talk to are responding to it in a way that's thoughtful.
Yeah, I would say the second shock to me is when I create menus, and even though I'm not on the catering side anymore, I still, when I work with caterers for events, I try and implement what I had done previously, and that is with cocktails. When we have a signature cocktail, I offer it leaded with alcohol, unleaded without alcohol, or half leaded. And I will tell you, at least 50% of the time, people are actually choosing the half leaded option.
Yeah, it's, there's what do they say about politics and the economy? It's the economy stupid. People vote with their pocketbooks. I would say when it comes to non-alcoholic options, it's choice stupid. It's people just want to have what exactly they want, right? And we all dig that, right? I dig that. And so to your point, sometimes that's completely alcohol free. Sometimes it's just a little bit, or maybe it's the full proof or the, what is it, high octane? How did you say it?
I said leaded. That's that's very European. Everyone has their full proof, zero proof, half proof, whatever language you want to use. Mine is very European in how I use it.
I like it. But yeah, that choice is important. Great that you're seeing that. Okay, so question number 3, last question. This is a little bit of choose your own question to answer here. It's meant for me to get to know a little bit better, those that watch this to get to know you a little bit better. Some options and ideas, if you have a funny and quirky food combination, what you do to decompress, any hidden talents, anything like that just allows us to get to know Chelsea a little bit better.
I'm going to go with how I decompress because I think that's super relevant and important right now. One of my favorite things is I love to color. I get children's coloring books and I just color. It really does just calm my nervous system, but it also puts me into a really big focus mode. So it can be a good thing and bad thing at night because I will literally, it'll be 2 hours and I'm still coloring. I'm like, I need to go to bed. I'm just coloring, and each week I'm doing how to calm the chaos right now. And this week I did find your inner child. And that is very much, in alignment with my decompression. Is I like to do very childlike things when it comes to decompressing, like coloring, painting. What else? I have these stress balls that are from my childhood that I use a lot. So that's what I do. So if you're wondering what I'm doing at night, it's probably coloring in a children's book, having,
So between your job, between your content creation, you've got colors in your hands and your
Exactly.
That's awesome. Let's take care of ourselves is important, right? So
Yep.
Thank you for your time today, Chelsea. It was great catching up. Again, I appreciate your perspective. I think you have a unique vantage point It's been great knowing you and now knowing how you decompress. I will share also when my daughter wants to color, I always print a coloring page for myself as well, because I definitely go into that little alpha brainwave mode where I'm just like, oh, this is so nice. Like everything just fades away. It's just two of us color. It's therapeutic. I agree.
Yay! Thanks, friend.
Awesome. Bye. Thanks.